No one warned us. No one said you were going to lose both engines at a lower altitude than any jet in history. No one has ever trained for an incident like that. Mayday, mayday, mayday. We're going to end up in the Hudson.
Well, I was fascinated by it, as was most people, but especially that iconic picture of the plane floating on the Hudson River and then all the people standing out on there, or a good portion of them standing out on the wings. And I thought, that's an interesting, that's a great shot. And then the fact that nobody perished in the landing was great, and so it was kind of a good news program all the way around.
Mayday, mayday, this is Cactus 1549. We've lost a thrust on both engines.
It was a fascinating story, and I didn't know that there was a conflict to it. So when it came up, it was presented to me as the idea for a movie. I thought, well, it was such a uplifting story. Where's the conflict of it to give it a drama? And then later on, there is a conflict to it, as we find out in the plot line. I read that, and then I realized, well, I want to make this now. It's got good dramatic to it, and it's got good human factors.
People call you a hero. Show us your case, Super Son!
Well, he was pretty much like the news coverage, actually. He was, the news portrayed him as a very low-key, sort of humble gentleman, but a very efficient man with a great history in the aviation. First questions to him were, how did you like the script? And he says, I think it's a good script. And I said, you think it portrays things accurately? Because I wanted to see if there was anything that he thought was made up that didn't look right. And he was extremely pleasant and very supportive of the deal. So I said, who do you see playing you? And he said, well, I don't know. We've talked about that a little bit and a couple things. And I said, what about Tom Hanks? And he said, yeah, we've talked to him. He was thought of right away. He's terrific. And so that's what happened. We came back and we made the overture to Tom Hanks. And at first he wasn't sure about the timing and everything because he'd been doing other projects. But he did read the script and liked it a lot. So he found that he wanted to be participating.
I talked to Clint, and we know each other enough in order to. The pleasantries didn't go on for very long, as I'd met him before, and he said, "Hi, where are you?" "I'm in a car." "Oh, where are you driving?" "I'm driving into L.A." "Oh, okay. Well, I'm in Budapest." "Hey, this is great." "Yeah, it is pretty great." When do you want to start?" "Well, I think we have to start in October because we need the Hudson River." "All right. Well, and then that's all it was. It was just the logistics and the calendar.
Simulations showed that you could make it back to the airport.
Not possible. I felt it go. It's a twofold thing. One is, look, I've seen all the movies of Clint Eastwood, and the ones that are amazing are super amazing. Oh my gosh! I mean, you just run down. Let's say, I know how movies are made. So when I see them and I see what Clint has done with a minimum amount of fuss, and at the same time with every cinematic trick that exists, it's quite astounding. Just from a fan of making movies. Then, him as an actor, I mean, geez, he's got some pretty iconographic performances, films. That's one side of it. So fan and co-worker, that's one aspect. The other side is that I made a survey of people who had worked with Clint. Say, so, what's the deal? Are the stories true? Do you only get one take? Do you not know sometimes when the camera's rolling? And they all said, and rightly so, it's like, there's not a lot of takes, but there's a lot of coverage, which means that you have 7, 8, 9, maybe even more opportunities to do what you want to do in a scene. And to back that up, leaving this, I never felt as though we left something on the table by the time that we were shooting it. And sometimes just the opposite. I felt as though because he moved so fast, we were able to go on and find other aspects of the scenes that only came out because we had big momentum going.
I love the fact that Clint doesn't say action, because I personally believe that that's the way to go myself. And so I would watch him all the time. I would watch how he reacted with the crew and how beloved he is with the crew, and how he talked to Tom, and how he gave me direction, if he would ever give me direction at all, or how he gave Tom direction, how he managed his day. You know, he's very efficient at what he does, and very good, just hand signals like this. I remember the first time, on the first day of filming, Tom and I were acting there on the boat out in the Hudson, and we just sort of did what we thought we should do, right? And I turned around and I was going to go ask the boss a question, you want to fire me or anything like that? And then he just turned around, and just like this, and I thought, okay, that's how it's going to be. He didn't want to hear about it. He says his whole thing is, hey, I hired you. I have confidence in you. I trust you. You're my guy. And just do what your instincts tell you to do.
What if I did get this wrong? What if I endangered the lives of all those passengers?
Everybody else's relationship with Clint was, we were all looking up at Clint, But Tom was like this with Clint, which was really an interesting dynamic, and I watched it closely. Tom he's very secure in who he is and what his job is and how to do his job. And of course he takes direction and all that sort of stuff, but it was interesting to witness his confidence in who he is.